Well, as you can see, we've got a very full stage today. Warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to 2017 Pride of Swindon Awards, a very special occasion which is now firmly in the calendar of Swindon and its special events. Well, on stage we have members of Open Door who will be singing for us shortly. This is something we started about 3 years ago, profiling local talent and young people. But before then, of course, we have a very auspicious occasion and a lovely table of celebrities with us who will be gracing us with their presence, and some of those will be making awards and presenting certificates today. But to give you a warm welcome, please would you welcome our Mayor of Swindon, Councillor Eric Shaw.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome you as the Mayor of Swindon, but a special welcome to Sarah Troughton, Lord Lieutenant of Wiltshire. Sarah's a great supporter in Swindon and she tries to get to as many events as she can. You're most welcome. And also to the Leader of the Council, David Reynard, and our MP from the North, Justin Tomlinson, and also to our sponsors who come here. And I've got to be careful how much I say in case I say something that Shirley wants to say, who's going to be the compere for the rest of the afternoon. So again, I hope you enjoy the afternoon. I'm sure you will. I'll now hand you back to Shirley.
Thank you. So many good stories and so many marvellous anecdotes, lots of people providing an amazing service to Swindon who often go unnoticed, just by day to day doing their bit for the town. And this is an opportunity for us to give thanks to all those who made our community what it is. But music also is a very uplifting thing. It's used in fundraising, it's used in supporting our communities, and we included this as from about 3 years ago. And as you can see, a very happy lot waiting to sing for you today from Open Door. They work with adults with learning difficulties. They've been working for about 30 years in the town now, providing this incredible service. And the choir have been preparing a couple of songs, especially for you today. So let's enjoy Open Door Choir.
Swindon,
Thank you so much. To all the members of Open Door, led by Eva Gilbert and accompanied on the piano by Sheila Harrod. Thank you so much.
I feel rather alone up here now. Do you want to come back and join me? They'd probably say yes, actually, if I gave them half a chance. Well, hi, and once again, a warm welcome. What a lovely start to our special awards ceremony, our Pride of Swindon Awards 2017. Now, the first half will be actually announcing all of our finalists and receiving certificates from our guests. Then there'll be a break for tea and cakes, very posh. And after that, we'll be announcing the actual award winners who will be receiving the badge of the Pride of Swindon for this particular year. Now, to present the certificates, first of all, I'd like to welcome Councillor David Renard, who is the leader of Swindon Borough Council.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much all for coming. This is always a fabulous afternoon that I enjoy attending every year. Good to see so many faces that I've seen before, and indeed lots of new ones. And I look forward to presenting the certificates to the people that I've been asked to present them to. Thank you.
Excellent. And there are plenty of those. Right, first of all, we're looking at the individuals and then the teams. Individuals. This gentleman is called Alan. He organises support and sponsorship for Runvember. He's run 30 days to help the homeless of Swindon, united and inspired runners of all abilities and from clubs within the Swindon area. In 2014, he ran 760 miles for the charity, and by 2016, 296 runners completed the challenging fundraising awareness for Threshold Housing Link with him. Other group runs during the month include wearing posh frocks, I'm sure he looked wonderful, swimwear run, superheroes outfits, knitwear, and also the annual soup runs. And his final activity each November is a sleep out to show support for Swindon's homeless. Alan contains and obtains and distributes collection boxes, carries out much good work, and is an inspirational person, getting many of those around him to carry out also good deeds in order to help those who are homeless. So to receive the first certificate, Alan Butler, please come and join us. Alan, thank you. Our next lady is Claire. She's nominated for her work for charities and community groups over 26 years, 18 years with the Koalas and the Down Syndrome Group. Started 26 years ago with the National Childbirth Trust. And despite suffering from chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia endometriosis, she plays an active role in both organisations, as well as in 3 of her local churches. She was instrumental in setting up a community cafe and fought for support for the Living Options Foundation, a group for vulnerable people. She also set up a dropping centre in Sussex Square. One very busy lady, Claire Stowe. Barbara Moody. Barbara was a founder of Hayden Artists, who's run the not-for-profit making art group for 13 or 14 years now, and on her own for the past 10. She's encouraged and inspired many people aged 8 to 88, some of whom she started in art in much later life. Over the years, Barbara has organised many exhibitions, outings to art venues and events, demonstrations and workshops, and inspired many local children by inviting schools to get involved in competitions and also running workshops for children too. And many of the members have grown enormously in confidence, exhibiting their own work for the first time. And as 2017 is Barbara's last year of running the group, it's felt very appropriate to give her thanks and recognition for her time, expertise, effort, and her passion. She unfortunately can't be with us today, so on behalf of the lovely Barbara Moody, nominator Paula Dagnall will be receiving the certificate. Thank you. Received on behalf of Barbara Moody. Our next is a lady. Our next lady has been catering. She's been a catering manager for the Christmas Care Shelter Project for 9 years. From November every year, she drives a van collecting donations from all over Swindon. On Christmas Eve, she takes the list to cash and carry. She works tirelessly from Christmas Eve through to the 28th of December, providing breakfast, lunches, evening buffets. The shelter feeds over 60 people per day. She takes turkeys to Blunsdon House to be cooked. She takes leftover food to charities supporting the homeless. She moves all the kitchen equipment to a lock-up in the Brunel Centre and helps with the final clean-up as well. She gives her time free, and it means being away from her own family at that particular time. She also works with a shelter at the Dome in Walcott, which also supports many local people and was visited by David Hampelman Adams recently. He's the High Sheriff of Wiltshire. And as a result, Noreen has been invited to Buckingham Palace for a special garden party this year. Due recognition and of course recognised today with a certificate from Pride of Swindon Awards, Noreen Vitali. Now, our next lady, Caroline, for over 30 years she's lived in Walcott and been a true friend to all of her neighbours, as well as a community champion. She regularly shops for local people, carries out DIY and housework. Oh, I could book you myself. She does this for lots of elderly people in nearby Elizabeth House. She cuts the hair of one elderly resident who's unable to get to the hairdressers. She regularly helps out and takes care of neighbours' children when they've been working or ill or perhaps have their own crises. She buys little gifts for her neighbours, visiting those who are poorly or alone and regularly checking on them in bad weather. She's happy, colourful, cheers everybody up with her good-natured personality and would, they say, give away her last penny to help another. A most tireless and selfless person I know, says the nominator. No matter what is going on in her own life, she always puts others first, for making a difference to her community voluntarily over a very long period of time and reaching many community members. Caroline Watson. Next is a lady called Helen who lost her beloved son Daniel in 2015. Daniel was out on a family bike ride with a father and brother when he was hit by a road sweeper and killed instantly. A very traumatic experience for anyone. And with the help of a close friend, Helen went on to set up a charity called Doing It for Dan, and is now helping hundreds of children in the community through sponsoring sporting activities and supporting local individuals. The charity has raised thousands of pounds in its infant stages and continues to go from strength to strength. Now, prior to Dan's death, she was and still is a huge support of the SMASH project, helping young people reach their full potential. And Helen is most unassuming, strong and compassionate, and recognised today. Helen Lucas. Our next is another lady. Kathleen has been a member of the Wiltshire Wildlife Trust since at least 1981, that's when records began. She played a key part in helping the Trust develop and maintain its reserves in and around Swindon, at the time inspiring others as well. For 5 years now, she's been the chair of the Swindon Local Supporters Group, visiting local schools and youth clubs, giving talks about the natural environment and helping to enthuse the next generation about caring for its future. She helps many local people, she visits many of the local trust events and activities, and every year has supported the Sarsen Trail, which is the Trust's largest event and the largest fundraising event since it began 28 years ago, spending hours welcoming participants, whatever the weather. And Kathleen gives over 250 hours of her time each year to the Trust, and members have been so overwhelmed by her dedication, she was awarded the Trust Lifetime Achievement Award in 2016. So thanks to volunteers like Kathleen, the Trust itself achieves its aims of protecting and conserving natural environment, as well as providing opportunities for people of all ages and all backgrounds to engage with nature and to learn new skills. One inspirational lady, Kathleen Wyatt. David, thank you very much indeed, and thank you for your continued support as well for the Pride of Swindon Awards. Our next nominee and finalist receiving their certificate will be introduced in a moment, after we've introduced our next presenter, and that's Andy Tate, who is the Operations Director with Intel.
Thanks, Shirley, and yeah, it's great to see a huge turnout here. Intel have been one of the sponsors for this. We're not the only one. For, is it 9 years now? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's been running for 9 years, which is fantastic. If you think about it, every year we get around about 100 or so nominations that as judges we read through, and it's a really hard task because everybody who's nominated warrants some kind of a good news or message. But generally the people who are receiving these awards, and this is what it's all about, aren't expecting awards. They're really just doing things in the community because they want to do those things to help other people in the community, and it's a fantastic thing to be supporting. So over those 9 or so years, if you do the math, we've had, around about 900 to 1,000 such people, individuals and teams who have come forward, most of them still in the community and still generating a great deal of goodwill and helping their neighbours. So I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you.
Well, the first certificate you're going to be presenting, Andy, is to someone who's described as a formidable human dynamo with energy of a Duracell battery on speed and the detailed organisation of Montgomery. That's a good start. Very active indeed for over a decade here in the town. He's the secretary of the Swindon Rotary Club, has been for 5 years. Through social networking, he formed a twinning with the Rotary Club of one of those in Sweden, and until last September served as the partnership manager with the Wiltshire Community Safety Partnership, working on initiatives including the Safer Communities Project. His name is Tim, and he helped form Let's Loop Swindon, now known as Let's Hear Swindon. a partnership with community groups promoting the use of loops across the town. They gathered together a group of hearing aid wearers as part of a Rotary community corps, and they carried out loop checks on shops and businesses and forged a very impressive portfolio of partners to support the campaign that's gone from strength to strength. And the volunteers have carried out more than 500 loop checks in Swindon, and public awareness is now much improved. And his aim is for Swindon to become the best looped town in the UK. At this rate, I think we'll succeed. It's headed by Tim Mason. Thank you, Tim. Our next certificate recipient is Joan, who's been a member of the Pinehurst Netball Club since 1962. Still going strong. A player with more recently has been coaching the younger members. She currently coaches the under-12s, 14s, the D team, and assists with the C team as well, all competing in relevant areas of the Swindon Netball League. Added to this, she's an umpire in the club's team, and Saturdays and Sundays she can be found at the Netball Dome, that's at Dorking, and she umpires for New College as well, and regularly attends local schools to coach young girls and to introduce them to her own beloved game of netball. She's also a tireless fundraiser. She's been working for various charities, including Brighter Futures, Oxford Cancer Treatment Unit, and many others. She's volunteered with the Prospect Hospice, and previously worked in the Allied Dunbar fundraising team. She's also worked with her fundraising magic for the Janice Thompson Choir and also the Thames Down Ladies Choir, and always seems to have a book of raffle tickets in her hand, so watch out today. She's also willing to help others in many other different ways, and a song is quoted in her memory, and that is, "I'm just a girl who can't say no." I'd be careful if I were you, Jo, it leads you to all sorts of jobs. But she never lets anyone down, and here to receive her certificate today is thank you to Joan White. Our next certificate recipient is another lady, April. April has been supporting the Royal British Legion Poppy Appeal for the last 5 years and been its coordinator for the last 3. She works tirelessly throughout the year to get everything in place for October for the launch of the appeal itself, contacting schools, ordering stock, visiting shops and businesses, ordering the poppy tins, counting them, ordering the reeds, counting them and selling them, the knitters to liaise with. Yep, we have knitted poppies these days. It's a massive organisational undertaking which gets bigger every year, and she has responsibility for counting and banking all the donations and also preparing the accounts. And in 3 years, she, along with a very small and dedicated team of Poppy Appeal collectors, have raised in excess of £250,000. This all goes towards the Royal British Legion's Poppy Appeal. In addition to her work as the coordinator, she's worked in recent years to support the work of the Swindon Armed Forces Day, and on top of this, she's the treasurer of her local scout group. Again, another very busy lady. Let's welcome and thank April Porter. Our next certificate recipient is a gentleman who's been a volunteer for 20 years. Roy has worked as a volunteer benefits advisor at Swindon Carers Centre for the last 2 years. He also assists at the Stratton Advice Point, previously supporting Age UK, and also the Parks Advice Point. He's racked up 20 years as a volunteer since retiring from his job as a gas engineer. In his role at Swindon Carers Centre, Roy supports individuals who help gain their due benefits and helps them fill out rather complicated forms. And since funding for advice has been reduced, he provides a much-needed service to carers and also to those they care for. A conservative estimate would be that over the last 20 years, he's helped people claim due benefits to the sum of about £4 million. He's helped improve the lives of so many people, and one example is given, and that's of Roy helping an older carer with health issues, who lives with an adult son who has severe mental health conditions. As a result, she and her son are now £178.80 better off every week. Many people have written to say that thanks to Roy, their finances are so much improved, and he's been a very patient and calming person, dealing with various issues, helping carers who often have very stressful lives. Also has a great sense of humour and is very much valued by his colleagues and valued by those so much today. He receives his Certificate of Achievement for Pride of Swindon 2017. So thank you very much indeed to Roy Dowling. The children are not excluded from doing great things. We've had some fantastic stories over the last 8 years, and this year is no exception. Oscar, who sadly can't be with us today, he's 9 years of age, and already he's proved that he's wise beyond his years. His plan to raise money was to send a wheelchair to his friend in Bosnia, and that captured the hearts of many people. So he and his family have rare opportunities to take holiday together, and today they've done just that. His certificate was presented at an assembly at his school on Friday in front of the rest of the Robert the King Primary School. He's raised £2,000. With the extra funds, because he really wanted just 800, he was able to make sure that his old chair was in tip-top condition to send to his friend Sophia, as well as helping pay for the costs to adapt the seat itself. His family first became in touch with Sophia's family in Bosnia through a Facebook page for parents and children of muscular dystrophy, where they can share their experiences and share support. Oscar came up with his own fundraising ideas, raised various events, and raised the money, which exceeded his £800 initial plan. He even had a bake-off at the school and created his own Just Giving page. So his courageous, kind and good-natured outlook on life is an inspiration to so many others, including his fellow pupils. And all the team are in no doubt would have encouraged others to get involved in charity work. Oscar can't be with us today, but as you can see, he had a great time, and we've got a little mention for him later on as well. So it's credit to a 9-year-old, and that's young Oscar Moulding. Now, locally, we have a wonderful organisation called Twigs, and Alan has been its manager for the last 14 years. Along with the day-to-day running, he organises many open events to raise awareness and also funds. He persuades musicians, artists and owners of farm animals to contribute to these days, as well as selling the plants from the gardens, and also handmade crafts created by its own service users. Now, he leads a tight-knit team, all passionate about plants and people, helping those who are suffering from mental health problems to find peace and healing through gardening, crafts, and also social interaction. Now, he is the rock for Twigs, the backbone of a team who create and maintain beautifully themed gardens. He believes in the joy of being in touch with nature, encouraging service and giving hope. And despite previously being a teacher specialising helping troubled young people, he uses all of that now and concentrates this through the work he does at Twigs, listening and helping service users find their own path. Alan encourages individuals to learn new skills, helping them regain their confidence, and he uses compassion and warmth to create a safe haven for those in trouble. And then he guides them gently until they're ready to go back out into the world, armed with the knowledge that Twigs will always be there for them. Let's recognise him now, Alan Holland. Our next gentleman, Steve, has volunteered twice a week for 5 years at Scrapper's Boxing Gym and Community Fitness Centre, the town's community gym for disadvantaged people of all ages. It's managed by the Swindon Children's Scrap Store. Now, Steve teaches boxing skills and helps develop various skills and self-esteem in young people. He himself is an ex-Swindon amateur boxer with 15 years boxing experience, and he's also coached young people at the Penhill British Legion Boxing Club. He's a former ABA qualified boxing coach and also a qualified box fit instructor. I'm sure he can tell you more if you'd like to catch him over tea and cakes. Steve is an inspiration and has the drive and determination to help motivate and support people who use the gym to change their lives, improve their physical, social and mental well-being, as well as raise their personal and physical aspirations, enabling them to perform better in life in general and help people to make better life choices, developing team working skills and the wider social and personal skills. A very inspirational gentleman is Steve Cooney. Thank you very much indeed to Andy, and it's also a huge thanks to Intel and for your support over the past years for the Pride of Swindon Awards. Andy Tate. Now I'd like to introduce you to our MP for Swindon North, Justin Tomlinson.
Thank you, Shirley. And it's a real pleasure to be here this year. I've missed the last couple of years, one of the disadvantages of being a minister, so I am now grateful I did vote for Boris Johnson in the first round, and here I am on a Thursday. And I want to say, for me, why this is so important. I'm really lucky, because I spend a lot of time going around visiting many of you. I've seen many of you doing your fantastic work in the local community. But for the vast majority of people in Swindon, they don't realise just how much is being done, and particularly unseen work. And it's just brilliant that 9 years ago, a group of people came together, Shirley, Tony, the then Mayor Steve Wakefield, and Dave King, the former editor of the Swindon Advertiser, and realised that we needed to come together as a community, recognising all of the brilliant people for the fantastic work they're doing that genuinely makes a real difference. Because, as I said, I'm lucky because I'm one of those people who gets to meet those people who've benefited from each and everything that you all do. So you are right to be incredibly proud to have been nominated, to be here, to be celebrated, because we are incredibly proud of everything that you have done. And it is also incredibly helpful because I'm writing my Swindon Advertiser article tomorrow, which I know is the first thing you read in the morning of your cornflakes, and I'm very grateful. And obviously I now have become a journalist, and I've been busily making notes, and Oscar will be getting an extra nomination because I saw just how much it meant to Shirley on that one. So thank you on behalf of all of the people in Swindon for everything you do, and I'm delighted to be here.
Well, the first recipient of a certificate handed over by Justin is a Swindonian, John Popovich, nominated for Outstanding Public Service dedicated to protecting the people of the town. Joining the fire service, the Wiltshire Fire and Rescue in 1982, served with distinction for 34 years, became Swindon Divisional Commander for 10 until his retirement last year, working both in Swindon and Wiltshire as the head of the Community Safety Partnerships. He took county lead on road safety, with numbers of people killed or seriously injured falling by over 40%, exceeding government targets. John served on adult and children safeguarding boards, held overall responsibility for all the fire service, community and schools education programs, as well as the free safety home checks for homes across the borough. Very successfully, he ran the Safe Drive Stay Alive road safety education programme for every 11-year-old in Swindon, and that's now run successfully for 10 years, and also been adopted by the British Army. He's always been an able sportsman and been with Swindon Rugby Club since 1976. He captained the first team, represented Swindon and Dorset at Wiltshire level, and coached mini and junior rugby for 10 years. He's been involved with charitable work for 5 years with Swindon Rotarians, and they received a national award at 10 Downing Street for their charitable fundraising. John's eldest son, Sean, died from a respiratory condition at the age of 35, and the money raised from Sean's memory was used to provide 2 bespoke concrete tables, that's table tennis tables, which were donated to the people of Swindon, are now on permanent situation at the Quarry Road Park. So one amazing gentleman, and what a career. John Popovich. And John's been a great supporter of the Pride of Swindon Awards since its inception 9 years ago. Our next gentleman, Angus, is a consultant ENT surgeon. He's a consultant at the BMI Ridgeway Hospital since 2003, clinical lead at the Great Western Hospital, 25 years as a doctor and a consultant for over 12, experienced training periods at Great Ormond Street Hospital and the Hospital for Sick Children in Toronto. He supports work with hearing loss, vertigo and dizziness, tinnitus, and the clinical management of a range of surgical problems. He's an active medical educational role, and not many people are aware that Mr. Waddle is a volunteer surgeon for the British Nepal Otology Service. Now, he met the only ENT doctor in Nepal. There were no audiologists. Living standards of many locals was poor. Angus travels to Nepal every other year, using his annual leave to help those in need of medical attention. He's operated on hundreds of people over the years and also trains doctors to operate. There are now 75 new doctors giving medical attention. Angus is also a hands-on doctor for Swindon Town Football Club, and the money he receives for each session is donated to the cause in Nepal. He also donates computers, hearing aids and much-needed equipment, and has made a huge difference in gifting many hard of hearing the chance to hear. Angus Waddle. Now, for over 30 years, Gerald has been involved in providing either youth football or helping out with the Boys Brigade. He is one of the unsung, selfless heroes who all his life has done things for others so they can have great opportunities. His dedication and time spent helping others has had such an effect on players, parents, fellow coaches and colleagues that they all nominated Gerald for a UK Honours Award very recently. The letters of support and the nomination for today were heartwarming and from the generations of families that Gerald has supported during his years of volunteering. This nomination was supported by Swindon Town Football Club, who paid special mention and tribute to Gerald in their matchday programme. He teaches the next generation that winning isn't everything. Swindon is proud of him. Swindon Town Football Club is proud of him, and he does so much for so many. He helps to provide opportunities to thousands in the local community. Please recognise him. We will. Gerald Kent. Now, our next finalist receiving their certificate is a lady who was born in Swindon, and she's been running the Estelle School of Dance for 60 years. So started in 1958 with around 150 members aged 18 months to adult. Pat teaches every class a range of styles 5 days a week, plus she teaches Keep Fit classes for adults. At nearly 80 years of age now, she remains hardworking and passionate whilst being an insulin-dependent diabetic. A few examples of support she gives include teaching 5 days a week despite breaking both wrists, and teaching a boy who had difficulty walking due to coordination problems. She's influenced a countless number of dancers and touched many other people's lives with her kindness, generosity, and her dedication. Now, the Estelle School of Dance is the only dance school in Swindon that performs their shows for charity every 2 years. She arranges all aspects of the shows herself. There are also annual pantomimes for local care homes and special needs children. In the last 15 years, they've raised in excess of £30,000 for charity, and in total, over all the years, they reckon 100,000. She's influenced, changed, motivated and inspired many people's lives, spending much time supporting children. She gives much of her own time for free, never charging for extra lessons or rehearsals. Pat, a very well-respected lady who the team don't think will ever stop in helping others as long as she's able. Pat Bennett. Our next lady is Claire, now who has worked on a voluntary basis for over a year to help ensure some of Swindon's homeless have the things they need, from blankets and clothing to food and other essential items. In October 2016, she set up a Facebook group called Claire's Collecting for the Homeless, which attracted almost 400 people and is now used to gain items to help homeless people. She collects the items and she stores them. She drives them into the town centre on a daily basis to distribute all the items to those in need. She also seeks to support people attending housing appointments, filling out forms, helping individuals receive deposits through the Deposit Guarantee Scheme, which enables them to move into accommodation and off the streets. She sits down with individuals, listens to their stories to understand why they're doing what they're doing to survive. As homelessness has increased, Claire provides a vital service which is not met by statutory or charitable services. For many people, she's a lifeline during the coldest months of the year. She gives all her time freely, whilst also being a full-time carer for her own 2 children, each with challenging health issues. It would be fantastic, says the nominator, for this to be recognised through the Pride of Swindon. So gaining a shortlist certificate, it is Claire Chilcott. We now move on to the teams, something that was introduced just a few years ago and is very popular indeed. So, to present the awards to our nominated teams today, I'm delighted to welcome Sarah Troughton, who is our Lord Lieutenant of Wiltshire.
Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, I'm absolutely delighted to be here, and you'll be pleased to hear that being a hearing aid wearer in both ears, this one doesn't work at all, the loop works perfectly. I'm very, very proud to be here, proud to hear all these wonderful stories, and proud also that although I'm Lord Lieutenant of the whole of Wiltshire, I actually live in the borough, so I do have a very, very soft spot for Swindon and its villages round about. So I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
So the first of our nominations who'll be receiving their certificate is Colin and Jackie, who've supported wildlife and outdoor conservation for many years. They volunteer for the RSPB, Wiltshire Wildlife, Cotswold Water Park and Swindon Volunteer Rangers, as well as the Dormouse Conservation. Now, for 20 years they've carried out conservation work in Swindon with bird nest boxes in all the local parks and also the crematorium. No matter what the weather, they're out there surveying, cleaning, repairing, and also recording their results. They've become well known with walkers of the parks, always keen to talk, especially with children, telling them about the boxes and the significance of the work. Every one of those boxes has been put up and maintained over the years by Colin and Jackie, and the bird boxes are enjoyed by thousands of people every year. And it's important that people appreciate the effort that these two people have put in. Unsung heroes. Colin unfortunately can't be with us today, but Jacqueline Collins is representing both her and Colin Crook. Jacqueline Collins. Our next team, Let's Hear Swindon, provides a focal point for those suffering with hearing loss, a condition which affects 1 in 6 of us here in the United Kingdom. Formed 3 years ago in conjunction with the charity Hearing Link to promote the use of hearing loops in shops and businesses, as well as encourage hearing aid wearers to make better use of the facilities where there are loops. A working loop will allow a hearing loss aid user to carry out a conversation clearly in the noisiest of places and without the other person even knowing that they're wearing a hearing aid. Let's Hear Swindon is a partnership involving Swindon Borough Council, Zurich Community Trust, the National Trust, Voluntary Action Swindon, Leighton's, the Brunel Centre, Swindon Equality and Access Group, Swindon Equality Coalition, Churches Together, and the Rotary E-Club of West Swindon, and now also the Great Western Hospitals National Health Service Trust. The volunteers have conducted hundreds of checks, resulting in a drastic improvement of provision in the town. And Let's Hear Swindon is regarded as a beacon of nationality, which was praised by the Department for Works and Pensions and the Office of Disability Issues for its pioneering work. They develop awareness in tandem with the Audiology Department at the GWH, a development plan which has been produced for Swindon Borough Council's public-facing facilities. And volunteers have worked with students at Swindon's new college to produce a video explaining how the loops work, and that's to be shown in care homes. And the work goes on. So recognised today, it is the team Let's Hear Swindon. Now our next team, Swindon Street Reps from Pen Hill, local residents who work to improve the quality of life for residents throughout their neighbourhood. Now, representatives can be any individual who is resident in one of the council estates, is over 18 and a good neighbour. The Pen Hill Street Reps get involved with each other, with the tenant participation officers, with all the residents in the area, discussing problems they've encountered and also coming up with new ideas to help their communities. They're self-sufficient, but they also have the help and support of a housing officer when it's needed. Now, this group has arranged for street closures to help children who can play outside safely and learn to interact with each other, as well as encouraging parents the opportunity to meet others in their neighbourhood. They conduct surveys, deliver leaflets, and spend time with people in the community in a bid to increase engagement, ensuring information is distributed effectively. The team have been keen to get involved in clearing up their neighbourhood through litter picking and hedge trimming. They teamed up with the council's neighbourhood wardens in the area and organised several litter picks and environmental maintenance sessions. They're focused on areas which need the attention most. They listen to their local community, they're part of their local community, they're dedicated, and they love to make a difference in their community. The Pen Hill Street Reps. Now, the International Women's Day team have been running for over 3 years. Their aim is to make a difference to the lives of women and girls in and around Swindon. They aim to make a positive change through art, business, community engagement, design and technology. They organise a whole day event each year based around the Central Library and local buildings. They see themselves as a catalyst for collaboration, a hub for mutual discovery and recognition, and a place that encourages talent and self-expression. It highlights women and equality, giving people, women in particular, a voice and encouraging collaboration, offering advice, guidance, sharing, networking, and empowering. The event has grown every year and involves many people, many organisations across the town. Volunteers are involved in organising and running this particular event, making a difference to the lives of women and girls around Swindon. Also has a knock-on effect on their families and friends, and long may they continue. The Swindon International Women's Day team. Now, the reasons and nominations are certainly very varied, aren't they? So from Women's Day International to Leiden Lagoons Volunteering, a group that has met every week for the last 10 years, undertaking practical conservation on Swindon's lagoons and also at Rivermead. They also run guided walks, carry out biological monitoring, undertake monitoring projects and small-scale building projects. Members themselves seek the materials they need, develop services and schemes, manage their own equipment, and recently worked with Thames Down Water to enhance an area of reed bed at Swindon Lagoons, and thereby creating open water habitat and promoting youth growth and young growth with a positive impact on the number of nesting reed warblers. Now, bird ringing and nest checks, complete with small engineering projects such as steps, viewing platforms and bridges. Their work allows people to access the natural environment and to reconnect with nature. This dedicated team helps ensure that the people of Swindon have this fantastic resource right on their doorstep. The Leiden Lagoon Volunteer Group. There's been a continuous guiding presence in Pen Hill for many years now, in fact, over 60 years when the estate was first set up, initially helping families who came from outside Swindon and bringing girls together so they could make friends. There are active rainbows, brownies, guides, and a varied programme running residential and various large events locally as well. And the programmes are designed to challenge the girls, develop new skills, to think for themselves, make decisions, and also character building. Now, they encourage outdoor activities, hiking, map and compass, water activities and camping, and they have local campsite so that young people can experience the outdoors but close to home. I used to do that in my back garden. Now, many activities are carried out helping girls gain confidence, and the units attend church parade and various festivals as well. They support their local church and community activities. They're also very much involved in local fundraising, and the teams who lead are extremely dedicated. Some have been with the unit for all of those 60 years, helping provide experiences which also educate. So, for 60 years of continuous support for the girls in Pen Hill, the Pen Hill Guides and Brownies and Rainbows unit. The Swindon Softball League Committee are nominated for planning and hosting the 2016 South West Softball League's Charity All-Star Tournament, organising and running various sports social league activities, providing open and often free training, giving opportunities to people of all sporting backgrounds and abilities. The All-Stars Charity Tournament brought the best players from the 4 major softball leagues in the South West, as well as several Great Britain and other international players. They raised over £1,500 for the local charity, Brighter Futures. The Swindon Softball League has been built up and developed over 16 years by a dedicated team of committee members, and this gives men and women a chance to play in the same team and on an equal footing. The committee regularly run coaching sessions focused on bringing new players of all ages, and coaches are qualified and experienced volunteers, giving their time happily throughout the year. Swindon Softball League Committee. The Swindon Museum and Art Gallery team ran Hidden Potential. Now, this was a 2-year project which ended last October. It shared Swindon's stored collection with the local community and involved 48 volunteers aged between 16 and 80 who committed nearly 3,000 hours of their time, arranging to put 1,000 objects on display, catalogued almost 10,000 objects and took 16,000 photographs. Someone can add up, can't they? They created the exhibition Swindon in 175 Images, made in Swindon Gallery at the Museum and Art Gallery, and ran community events and developed a social media presence. Some volunteers have gone on to further education, supported employment or careers in and out of the museum sector. Volunteers have learnt, developed and fed back their ideas with inspiration towards improving the museum itself. The volunteers are nominated for their achievements and for making the museum a great place to visit and to work. So the Swindon Museum and Art Gallery Hidden Potential volunteer team. Now, the Harbour Project, established in the wake of Kosovo conflict in 2000 as a very small initiative to welcome refugees arriving into Swindon. The project has grown into a large charitable organisation. They support vulnerable residents with a wide range of support. It's staffed by a small team and supported by a group of passionate and committed volunteers. They provide a drop-in centre for refugees and asylum seekers from across the world with advice, help, forms and administration, emergency assistance in cases where people are facing destitution. They also formed a refugee football team, which apparently is doing very well. The English lessons and even cooking classes, crucially a place of safe sanctuary here in our town for many who have faced extreme horrors. Individuals are helped to rebuild their confidence and in most cases their lives. They run on limited funding and public donations to provide the service. And last year they launched the Harbour Fest, raising funds and showcasing music from across the world. There was entertainment, food and film too. And the many stories of their work and differences they make are truly inspirational. Their work continues. The Harbour Project. Prime Theatre, as it's now known, was once called Sixth Sense, and this year celebrates its 30th anniversary. It's been recognised by the Arts Council as having productions amongst the best in the country. They inspire children, with one nominator going on to university as a result. One member is now 18 and now a national theatre maker. Many people have been given a voice through this particular service, including writers, technicians, teachers, parents, and police officers. The volunteers engage, mentor, help young people develop a communication. They develop home-educated children. They help children with Asperger's or anxiety. The Prime team provide exceptional commitment and support, regardless of circumstances or background. Children learn compassion, respect, and self-worth. For 30 years, this caring team have worked with very many people, especially children who are hard to reach or to engage. A service Swindon that deserves true recognition. Well, it's happening today. Prime Theatre. Our next team are volunteers who make up the Witness Service team. They support people appearing at Crown Court as victims of crime and who need support and help when they give evidence. The team of volunteers are a variety of ages and they'll help anyone who needs their support. They offer a pre-trial visit. They show what a courtroom and witness box are like. They explain what we're required of them, reassuring and offering to accompany them in court as well. They have devised a system within the video link room to alert judges if the person who is becoming distressed with minimal fuss so that the rest of the court is unaware of the situation. They'll sit with someone after having given evidence. They can talk with families as needed and then provide vital support within the court system. We thank the Witness Service team. Our next team is the Save Swindon Libraries team, set up in response to the Council's new libraries strategy, which looked to reduce the funding to libraries in the town due to the cost pressure that the Council is facing. Volunteers organised a petition of over 2,000 signatures, made appearances at a range of local events ranging support, awareness and funds. They won an award at the Old Town Parade for the best dressed group as famous literary characters promoting reading. They've arranged public meetings with support from authors and illustrators, and they successfully petitioned for Parks Library to be included in core library provision, conscious that this was an asset in driving up literacy rates. The group attended a national march in support of libraries, gaining press coverage. The Save Swindon Libraries campaign has been encouraging parishes to get involved, and the volunteers have been dedicated and innovative, reaching into the community to save the service. The Save Swindon Libraries team. Our final team to receive their certificate is the Saraswati Puja Committee. They've just delivered their 5th Puja, which is now very much in their calendar of events for Swindon. Now, Saraswati Devi is the goddess of wisdom, art, science and philosophy. And for those reasons, the worship of Goddess Saraswati has special significance in the careers of students, academians, singers and also musicians. And the aims are to promote cultural and heritage awareness, supporting the society they live in, and in this case, it's Swindon. The committee strives to keep rich culture and heritage alive through various religious events, social and educational activities, and also a cultural programme throughout the year. They formed an association with the community groups such as the Swindon Mela, Swindon Hindu Samaj, and the Bangladesh Association in Swindon. Now, through community ownership and partnership, the group has worked together to promote community cohesion, racial harmony and diversity, as well, of course, as the Saraswati Puja, which happens every year as a focal point to some of their celebrations. So working within our communities, the Swindon Puja Committee. Thank you, and Sarah Troughton, thank you very much indeed for gracing us with your presence today and making the awards for us too. Thank you. Well, that brings us to the end of the first half of our proceedings for today. Amazing stories, and we have the Pride of Swindon badges to award with our Mayor in the second half. We're taking a break now to give you coffee and cakes as promised at the start, so do mix and mingle. They're provided at the back of the room, and we'll be with you in about 20 minutes for now. And thank you very much indeed. So we've heard of those who were the finalists for receiving the certificates for the Pride of Swindon Awards for 2017, and we now move on to those who will receive the actual award itself. Something we introduced just a few years ago was the opportunity of a posthumous award, and we have one of those to start off the second half today. This is in recognition of a gentleman called Kevin, who died late last year, in fact in December, on the 23rd of December last year. And he's been recognised posthumously after spending much time, including the last months of his own life, trying to save the lives of others. He set up what's called the Loganberry Trust to deliver free prostate cancer screenings in this region. His own prostate cancer was misdiagnosed twice, and by the time it was picked up, it was terminal. He wanted to prevent that happening to other men. Awareness is one of the biggest things. Now, prostate cancer is the most common cancer in men, and 1 in 8 will get it during their lifetime. But there is a very good survival rate if it's picked up early enough. He's quoted as saying, countries like France have national screening programs, but the UK doesn't. He found it very frustrating and said that if we had, they might have detected his own cancer before it's too late. It helped him massively think about how he could help others. So for helping raise awareness and getting men the needed support, Kevin Logan is recognised at these awards with a posthumous award. Receiving this on behalf of Kevin is his good friend Des and his daughter Jo. So Des Morgan, please come and join us in memory of Kevin Logan.
This award. Kevin Logan was a well-known person in Swindon, particularly John Popovich will probably remember him from the rugby club. He was a great supporter of Swindon's rugby football club. He was an uncomplicated character, was Kevin. What you saw was what you got. And when in July 2015 he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, it came as a shock to him to discover it was metastatic cancer, and it spread very quickly to his bones. The doctors gave him 2 to 5 years to live, and in that period of time, we got together and we decided that we had to do something, and we set up the Loganberry Trust. His nickname was Loganberry. And for those of you who look on the website, just go to Loganberry Trust and you'll see the website in his memory. He died very quickly. His cancer spread to his liver, and within 8 days, he died at the age of 57, leaving 3 daughters and his grandchildren. And Jo is with me today. Her sister, Georgina, is in America and is following proceedings. And little Peyton is now sound asleep in his pushchair. But thank you very much indeed for honouring Kevin with this wonderful award.
Our next recipient of the Pride Award for 2017 is to a gentleman who's the key organiser of Runvember, helping the homeless of Swindon, uniting and inspiring runners of all abilities, running hundreds of miles for threshold housing, crazy group runs in odd outfits and sleep-outs, raising awareness and support for housing and homeless people. Inspiring, inspirational and unassuming, Alan Butler. Our next is a lady who was the catering manager for Christmas Care Shelter for 9 years, collecting donations, working hard over the 3 days of Christmas, catering for up to 60 plus people. taking all the leftover food to charities to then support other homeless initiatives, storing equipment, cleaning up and supporting the shelter at the Dome in Walcott, work that's seen her receive an invite to the Palace Garden Party. Noreen Vitali. Our next is a lady for 26 years of work for charities and community groups, 18 years for the koalas and Down syndrome, 26 years started supporting the National Childbirth Trust, an active role with 3 churches, setting up a community cafe and drop-in centre, visiting vulnerable people in hospital, local choir and drama group, herself suffering from chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia endometriosis, but an amazing lady with a car always full of goods for jumble sales and fairs. Maybe she's got 1 or 2 today for sale. You never know. Claire Stowe.
I'd like to say just a few words.
I'd just like to say as well that I want to mention my son as well. I have a son. He's 18 years old now with Down syndrome, and he gives me a lot of the energy and that to try and do the things that I do. Because he loves, although he's got Down syndrome, he loves helping other people as well. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Our next is an ex-Swindon fireman, 34 years with the Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service, Swindon Divisional Commander for 10 years, the head of Community Safety Partnership, leading on county road safety, supporting adult and children safeguarding boards, a player with Swindon Rugby Club since 1976, coaching children for 10 years, 5 years with Swindon Rotarians, charitable fundraising, and providing 2 bespoke table tennis tables for Quarry Road Park following the death of his beloved son. A multitude of achievements and memories for a dedicated man. John Popovich.
Just sort of lost for words, really. Very humbled. I've been a judge for a few years, and I always wondered what it was like on the other side, because you try and feel all the good work that everybody does, and today, it feels very humbling, very proud. Just lost for words a little bit. Thank you very much, everyone.
Our next is a Swindon-born lady, lifelong member of the Emmanuel Reformed Church, recognised for supporting charitable and community events, launching and running Estelle School of Dance for 60 years, reaching people of all ages. Now 80, diabetic, still teaching and influencing countless numbers of young dancers. With £100,000 being raised for local charities, she continues to influence, change and motivate the lives of hundreds of people a year, giving so much of her time free. Being recognised today for her work over those 60 years, Pat Bennett. Our next is a lady for over 30 years, has lived in Walcott supporting her friends and neighbours, shopping, DIY, housework, helping, taking care of neighbours' children, visiting people ill or alone, cheering people up, generous, selfless, always putting others around her first, for making a difference within her community and reaching very many individuals over a very long period of time, continuing to do so. Caroline Watson.
Hello everybody, I'd just like to, I do the things that I do because I've got other issues in my life and it just makes me to feel it. I just feel good doing the stuff that I do, and I get my inspiration from my father, who was a very kind and caring person. Thank you.
The next recipient of a Pride of Swindon Award is a lady with long-standing member of the Wiltshire Wildlife Trust, supporting trust development, inspiring others, chairing the Swindon Local Supporters Group for 5 years, giving talks and inspiring young people, helping at the local trust events and activities, and supporting for 28 years, giving over 250 hours of her time every year, and awarded the Trust Lifetime Achievement Award. Kathleen Wyatt. Our next recipient is a gentleman who's been a volunteer for over 20 years, since retiring. A volunteer benefits advisor at Swindon Carers Centre, helps at the Stratton Advice Point, Age Concern UK and the Parks Advice Point. He supports the Swindon Carers Centre and has helped those in need claim benefits up to about £4 million. He's helped improve the lives of very many people and continues to do so. Roy Dowling.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I can only accept this award on behalf of all the people that make it possible, the people who support me, the little girl who knows how to work the photocopy machine, for example. Over the years, I've had so much help to do my work that, really speaking, I can only accept this award on their behalf. Thank you very much. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much.
Our next recipient is a lady who's a sporting award winner, a member of the Pinehurst Netball Club since 1962, a player, then a coach for younger members, an umpire, volunteers at Dorking Netball Dome, coaches at local schools, an amazing fundraiser for the club and many other organisations, a volunteer with Prospect, a supporter of the Janice Thompson Choir and the Ladies' Choir as well, always willing to help others and a friend to many. Joan White. Joan says she's nothing to say, she'd cry because she's so happy. Joe, thank you. We saw a picture earlier on of a young gentleman. As we said, children can be exceedingly inspirational. A 9-year-old Oscar had a plan to raise money to send a wheelchair to his friend in Bosnia. He went on to raise £2,000. The wheelchair was sent across and has made a huge difference to that young girl's life. He's gone on a holiday today with his family, a little opportunity to do so as a family, so they took this opportunity while they could. As mentioned earlier, a presentation was made at Robert Le King's School, where Oscar is a student. So our Deputy Mayor went along, made the presentation in front of the gathered assembly. Many of those children had supported Oscar's fundraising. And this is how it went.
In most of we are very lucky because we have got visitors who have come to our assembly. There's something that is really, really very, very special. So I would like everybody listening now. This is something that you might already know something about because of the hard work of this person in the school. But I don't think you're going to fully know what's about to happen now. Can I introduce to you Councillor Penny, who is the Deputy Mayor of Swindon.
Thank you.
Now, Councillor Penny has a very, very busy job, and recently there's been a competition where people have been nominated, so you can't choose yourself. Somebody else will say, I would like to give an award to this person. I would like to give a prize to this person. I know there's lots of people inside this school who we could give awards and prizes to. But there's one person who's been really, really thoughtful, kind, caring, and thinking about other people and how they can help. One person in particular. I'm seeing if I can think. This person is 9 years old. And this person wanted to raise some money. Does anybody know who wanted to raise some money? That's good if there's lots of hands, because they were successful. Who wanted to raise some money? It was Oscar. Oscar, would you like to come and join us again? Okay, now, whilst Oscar's coming up, I admire Oscar because Oscar set himself a challenge. Come and join us here, Oscar. Oscar set himself a challenge. Does anybody know what the challenge was Oscar set? Nicole. Absolutely. Oscar is very lucky because he's got a fantastic new chair, but you had an older chair that you had, didn't you, Oscar? And sometimes when we have stuff that we finish with, some people just get excited about the fact that it's something new. But Oscar was fantastic because Oscar thought, actually, I've got something that I can now share with somebody else and help somebody else. Oscar, who was it that you wanted to help? Remember? Was it Sophia? Yeah, Oscar wanted to help Sophia. Now, Oscar, does Sophia live in Swindon? Does Sophia live in this country? Do you know which country Sophia lives in? Bosnia. Sophia lives in Bosnia. So Sophia doesn't live down the road. Oscar couldn't just pop along the road and say, here's my wheelchair. Oscar couldn't even just put it in a van for it to travel in this country. Oscar and Oscar's family had to work together really hard to make a complicated plan of how the wheelchair could get over to Sophia. Oscar, can you remember how much money you wanted to raise at the beginning? Was it £800? Yes, it was. Oscar set a target of trying to raise £800. Now, I don't know about you, but I would find it quite tricky raising £800 or saving £800. That's a lot of money. And Oscar had himself a bit of a plan of how he was going to raise some of the money. Can you remember some of the things, Oscar? Can you remember, Fayed?
One day the office sent out letters saying that we had to come in dressed up in yellow and bring some money in so Oscar could be able to send it to her.
Brilliant, well done. So one of the things, and this is where we worked together from Oscar's idea, was you could come into school in something yellow and bring in some money so we could collect up all that money. And I'm looking here and it also says there's a bake sale as well, which is fantastic. So Oscar set that target at £800, but actually in the end Oscar managed to raise £2,000. That is a lot of money. Now originally, Oscar, am I right in thinking originally you were just planning on sending the wheelchair over? But then, because you had that extra money, do you know what you did with the extra money? Were you able to get the wheelchair all checked out and making sure it was all working properly? Yeah. And has Sophia got the wheelchair now? Oh, thumbs up from Oscar. Yes, Sophia's got the wheelchair. Put your hands up if you're lucky enough to have seen a picture maybe in the paper, or you might have seen something on the news. Fantastic. So, because Oscar's got such a big heart, and he wanted to help somebody else, somebody in Swindon decided that they wanted to put Oscar forward for an award. And today, we are very, very proud. So Pride of Swindon is, this is not now just an award for the children in this school. This is an award for all of the people in Swindon, and they've been allowed to choose somebody, they've been allowed to nominate people, those names have gone in, and am I right in thinking a group of people looked at those nominations and then really thought about who needs to be getting one of these awards, and Oscar is about to receive his Pride of Swindon Award.
Oscar's name will also go on the plaque in the Swindon Library.
Oh, so Oscar will be... So put your hands in if you do go to the library in Swindon. Oh, this is good as well. I'm liking that response. Oscar's name is going to go on a plaque. Now a plaque, I don't think we've got any plaques in it, but it's a bit like, quite often they're in metal. It's a little bar or a piece, and his name will be in there on the wall to tell people exactly what he's done. I think we're ready, right? Are we watching carefully? Heidi, put your hand down.
Now, normally Oscar would receive this in a presentation that's done next Thursday, but I believe Oscar's going somewhere else next Thursday. So we won't be able to go to the award. So we're here to present him the award today. So, Oscar, congratulations. And very, very, very well done in earning all that money.
The children at Robert Litt King's School appreciating the work that Oscar had done, and also meeting our Deputy Mayor as well, so at 9 years of age. That's the end of our individuals receiving their certificates, and the team members now who are going to be coming forward to receive their Pride of Swindon Awards for 2017. And we start with, for over 20 years, the conservation work has been recognised for Jacqueline Collins and Colin Crook, with bird nest boxes in all the local parks and the crematorium. Talking with walkers, with children, educating them on the significance of the work. Over 20 years of providing this service, Jacqueline Collins and Colin Crook, and Jacqueline will receive the badges on behalf of both of them. Thank you. For supporting people appearing at Crown Court as victims of crime, with pre-trial visits to courtrooms, explaining processes, and providing a wide range of support, including devising a special video link that will help and assist them when giving their evidence. An amazing service provided by members of the Witness Protection Team. Now to community representatives who are far more than good neighbours, helping keep residents informed, increasing engagement, organising or supporting community initiatives and environmental concerns, a dedicated team of local people making a difference in their community. It's the Penhill Street representatives. And now for 30 years of inspiring children, providing opportunities, giving a voice to so many of our community, mentoring, developing, assisting with communication issues, supporting home education, children with Asperger's or anxiety, a Swindon service receiving recognition for so many wide-ranging achievements. It's the members of Prime Theatre. And now to a group who for over 10 years has taken on looking after Swindon's lagoons and Rivermead, running guided walks, biological monitoring, developing small-scale building and maintenance, helping create water habitat and increasing the number of nesting birds, ensuring areas of accessibility for all, helping ensure that we, the people of Swindon, have fantastic resources protected on our own doorstep. Swindon Lagoons Volunteer Group. And our final team to receive their Pride of Swindon Award for this year, for establishing in 2000 itself a small initiative to welcome refugees to Swindon and seeing how this initiative has grown, supporting vulnerable residents, providing a service which includes advice, practical help, English lessons, cooking classes, and ensure that there is an integration amongst the people who choose to settle or come to our town, a safe place of sanctuary for many who faced extreme horrors. The team of the Harbour Project. We've heard some amazing stories. I'm sure there are very many more to tell. There are also various groups here, and all need funding. It's a huge element of what we do. There's the amount of passion that everyone has that gives us that innovation, I think, to keep moving. But also funding is crucial. And through the awards, a small donation is made to 3 of those groups, usually each year. I'm delighted to welcome Pam Webb, who's the director of the Zurich Community Trust, to say a few words, and also who is going to receive the funding that's been donated by the Trust this year. Pam Webb.
Thank you very much. So before I do that, can we just give a really big thank you to Shirley, who's done a fantastic job this afternoon with all the chairing. And I feel a complete fraud because I'm standing here as Tony Martin, who many of you may know. He's a bit smaller than me with dark hair. Tony's been very poorly, he's on the mend, and he's gutted to not be able to be here today. These awards are really special to Tony. He was involved from the outset along with Shirley and the Mayor and the gentleman that ran the Swindon Advertiser at the time, Dave King. So I think this is the 9th year and it's probably the first he's missed. So he sends his best regards and congratulations to all of the certificate winners and badge winners this afternoon. So the Zurich Community Trust is really proud to support the Pride of Swindon Awards, and we've been supporting the communities in Swindon since 1973. I personally was born in Swindon, so I'm very proud today to say that particularly. And I think when you look around Swindon, and having seen the recent 175 celebrations as well, you know, Swindon isn't the skyscrapers and the offices and the shops and the houses. It's actually the people inside them. And I think in this room today are the people that actually make Swindon very special. So thank you very much and very well done to all of you. So I added up all the votes for the 4 charities that were on the list. And actually it was incredibly close. We had 35 votes and 3 charities got 8 and 1 charity got 7. So I've made the executive decision to round it up to 3,000 instead of 2.5 and give you all £750 unrestricted funds. So just to recap, that's the Harbour Project, the Loganberry Trust, Swindon Down Syndrome Group, and the Scrappers Boxing Gym. So well done to all of you. And it's quite interesting for me, and I apologise if there are others I don't know, but 3 of the award winners today actually used to work for Zurich. So we've got David Rowlands over there for the Harbour Project, who used to, Joan White, who actually used to work in the trust team, and very sadly Kevin Logan as well used to work for Zurich, and was actually at my 18th birthday party, but that's another story. So thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, would you like to come to say your goodbyes and your thanks too? And then whilst we're waiting, I think it's a huge thank you to all those who've helped organise the events. It's surprising how much work goes on behind the scenes to make something like this happen. So it's been a huge team event for this as well. So thank you to the team. And just when you think there's some more inspirational stories to come, I've already had 3 people come to me today and say, what do we do about nominating others? Well, you can do the same thing and recognise those who give their time tirelessly to help our communities. And November is when we launch the next Pride of Swindon opening, so do look out for the award opportunities then, and do likewise. And the next aspect of this is that the names of the award winners will be on a special plaque, and that will be placed in the Central Library on the central column. If you go into the library, you'll see those who've received awards up to date, and those names will stay there for posterity, recognising all the amazing work that goes on in our town. So thank you. Mr. Mayor.
If you look on the programme, what it says is closing address by the Mayor. So I want to keep it short because looking at my watch, I realise we've been sat here for 2.5 hours, believe it or not, listening to a whole host of tremendous achievements. So what I'm going to do is to say thank you, and thank you to sort of 2 sections. Firstly, to the people who made today possible, beginning with the staff here, for what I always find their courtesy and their willingness to help. And then they're no longer with us, but to the Open Door Choir. I made a commitment as Deputy Mayor to visit Open Doors Mayor, and I intend to see that I do that before I finish in late May. Thirdly, I think to Ush Turner and the staff from Swindon Borough Council, who urged us a lot behind the scenes, leading directly on to Shirley, who's been, I think, a fantastic compere, and to her and her team from 105.5, a very big thank you for marshalling and comparing this afternoon.
Thank you.
Also, to all our sponsors, please keep sponsoring, and if you can persuade other groups to do the same, so much the better. But thank you so much for being here today and to be involved in presenting the awards, and also to our guests who've had to leave, and finally to Sarah Troughton, our Lord Lieutenant. Now to the second group, and this is where I have the difficulty, because I don't know how I can adequately thank you for the work that you do, and it's due recognition that's brought you here today to receive these awards, and long may you continue to do so. It's really with heartfelt thanks that I'm pleased to be here today and to take part in the celebrations, and also to those hundreds of volunteers outside who are not here today but still continue to do the work. And finally, I think, to say for me, rather like Justin Tomlinson said, I always find that when you speak last, most people have said what you were going to say, so I can only repeat what some of Justin said. As Mayor, it's an absolute privilege to go across the borough and meet the host of volunteers, sometimes individuals, sometimes groups, sometimes teams, all ages, from all walks of life. And it's an absolutely fantastic pleasure to be able to be part of that and to meet so many people. And lastly, I think, wouldn't it be good if at various levels, whether it's nationally or locally, and if there's anybody from the advertiser here this afternoon, they can take it back. Why not speak a little bit more about the achievements within this borough, the work that people like yourselves do, and also just how much of a community there is within this borough with the different groups. They're individuals, yes, but they also work together to help support and make Swindon a better place to live in. Thank you very much indeed.
So those amazing words bring us to a close for the awards for 2017. And as I said, there are so many more inspirational stories to be told, that please spread that word, and we'll make this happen again for our 10th anniversary next year. Some of the highlights can be heard on Swindon 105.5, and our next event is to open our training studio officially next week and make more opportunities available to give a voice to local people. So there's so many organisations doing great jobs. So on behalf of all of us, thank you for what you do.